Namaskar to all Rasikas and welcome to the next Sambhashan series. Today we have a very special guest with us. We have Dr. S. Ramaratnam sir, who is currently the Vice Chancellor of Jagadguru Kripalu University in Orissa. Sir is actually a doctorate in Sanskrit. He's an MBA. He's a graduate in literature, in maths, in music. He has done his diploma and graduation in multiple languages, multiple arts and science, many Indian and foreign languages as well. And he has an amazing teaching and administrative experience. And he has trained and taught so many students who are there all across the world today, earning a name for themselves. He has many research publications to his credit. He has attended many conference proceedings and he has even been the chair for many of these conference proceedings. And I actually met Sir in the World Sanskrit Conference about 3 years back. And I was actually amazed by the humility of Sir when I approached him and had a short discussion with him. And I was actually amazed to see that whenever I met Sir in many of the conferences, I could see so many of his students who were there in the conference who came to meet him and said that Sir had taught us, when we were in Chennai, we were in this college, that college. And so I was amazed by the amount of Shishya Parampara, if I were to call it that way, that Sir has, and the respect he commands even till today. And probably he's one of the examples of the fact that learning has no age. You can keep on learning, and I still see Sir in various, when he comes for conferences and he presents different papers, he's continuously learning, he's continuously taking information from people and discussing. So, sir, it's actually my pleasure to have you for this discussion today. Thanks a lot, sir.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure as well.
Sure, sir.
Delighted to be in the company of all of you.
Sure, sir. Sir, as I mentioned in the introduction itself, like you have such a illustrious and long teaching experience, and you have trained so many students. We would like to know something about your student days, about your teachers, about their unique teaching styles, and what have you imbibed from them which has helped shape the person you are today. So if you could tell us something about that.
Sure, it'll be a pleasure. I don't remember many of my teachers in the primary section or even up to the 6th standard. But from 7th standard onwards, I remember a number of teachers who are responsible for what I am now today. In my 7th standard, we had very good teachers. Some names of teachers also I remember. One is called the Lakshmi teacher, and the other is Sulochana madam, and the other is Sri Krishna Yangar. They were dedicated teachers. They used to teach all the subjects. And I remember many of the anecdotes and many things that they taught us in the classroom. For example, this Lakshmi teacher, during her history class, she taught us that there was one Mahendravarma Pallava, who was important in the Pallava dynasty. And he was also a scholar, and he wrote a work called Matta Vilasa Prahasana. Matta Vilasa Prahasana, it has some rhyming effect. So somehow it went into my mind. In the very next class, she asked the question for the leading Pallava king and what is his contribution to literature. And I was the only one to answer because somehow it was recorded in my mind. And to my surprise, somehow it must have gone into my subconscious mind. Several years later, maybe 20 years later or so, when I took up a topic for my research, it was connected with Matta Vilasa Prahasana of Mahendravarma Pallava.
Okay.
So that was the influence they had. And I remember when that teacher was teaching about Napoleon, she quoted one line, "Able was I, ere I saw Elba." That is, Napoleon was defeated and sent to an island called Elba on the Mediterranean. And there it is said, it seems he said, "Able was I, ere I saw Elba." The peculiarity of this sentence is, even if you read from the reverse order, it gives the same sentence. Able was I, ere I saw Elba. From there you read reverse order, same thing comes. So these are some of the influences of great teachers we had in those days. There was one teacher in my 10th standard, I think, Professor Ananthakrishnan, and he taught. Maybe nobody will like the last hour class. It will be usually it will be boring. But
Yeah.
that particular teacher was used to engage all the students very well. He taught once William Wordsworth poem Lucy. That poem is still ringing in my mind. So these are teachers who really molded people like us, and therefore we are beholden to such teachers. And then in my graduate teacher, I did mathematics initially in graduation, and then we had wonderful teachers in the college that I studied, Vivekananda College. And then I switched over to Sanskrit studies. We had several good teachers, but one particular teacher was simply exemplary. His name is Kalyana Sundara Shastri.
Hmm.
Whatever subject he taught, he was an expert in that particular field. Whether it was Vyakarana or grammar or Vedanta, that is philosophy, or Kavya, that is literature, he was a master. He never needed any book. He knew everything by heart. All the grammatical sutras of Panini and all the Vedantic concepts. And he used to speak very fluently in Sanskrit. He used to teach us in the medium of Sanskrit in several of our classes. He was such an inspiring teacher.
Hmm.
So these teachers are responsible really for. I'll just give you one example of Kalyana Shastrigal. How he
Sure.
used to give appropriate illustrations.
Hmm.
For example, in the Vedanta, it is said you should be detached. I mean, you should be you are attached to the world. At the same time, you should be detached.
Hmm.
Little bit of attachment at the same time, little bit of detachment also we should practice. Otherwise, we will be deep into trouble.
Hmm.
All the time, we will be bothering about the worldly problems. So
Hmm.
he gave an appropriate illustration how to be attached as well as detached.
Hmm. Hmm.
He said it's like the first time people having a shave. If you put the blade too hard on your cheek, you cut the faces, cut
Hmm.
the face. Or if you simply wave the shaving rod around your face, the job will not be done. So you
Yeah.
apply appropriate attached as well as detached. You should be doing the job at the same time. It should not be too hard. So this is a very
Beautiful.
down to earth, appropriate example of great philosophical thoughts.
Right.
That is how those teachers in those days used to inspire us. So this again got into my mind that I should become a teacher of Vedanta someday or other. It so
Right.
happened after finishing my MA, I wrote few competitive examinations like the income tax department and some bank examination. I got through and got the job. But to be a
Yeah.
teacher, that was probably ended it. So I declined those offers and joined the
Wow.
teaching line.
Hmm.
Those days,
Hmm.
teaching line was not very attractive.
Hmm.
That too
Hmm.
in a private college, it was difficult.
Right.
But still, I got the job, and therefore I declined the other offers and joined it. And thereafter, I did not write any competitive exams, and not even many suggested, "Why don't you appear for IAS?" I said, "No, no, no. Teaching is fine for me." So
Hmm.
these are the things that's not because of my decision, but it was the inspiration given by my own great teachers. So I am really grateful to them and beholden to them all. Many of them are not alive, but
Hmm.
I still remember them.
Very nice, teacher. Very nice, sir. I think the way you explained the inspiration that you got from your teachers and which
Yes.
helped you take and take a decision of you yourself becoming a teacher. So,
Oh, yes.
just taking this ahead now,
Yes.
during your time, when you had your
Yes.
interaction with the teachers, and then you
Yes.
have been training students, for so many decades now,
Yes.
do you see any difference or in the approach or in the relationship between a teacher and a student then and now?
Yes. Many things are changing over the years. All things have to change. Change has to come. The only thing that doesn't change in the world is the term change. The change
Right,
is, always it has to take place. It is inevitable. So many
right.
changes have taken place in the student-teacher relationship also. But I feel in those days we had one-to-one relationship. The teacher used to watch all the students, especially in the school stages. Especially in a small town like ours where I studied, the
Hmm.
teacher knew everything, not only about me, about my parents, about my grandparents. So they used to live very close. So if
Right.
I do any mischief, immediately it will go to my parents. Therefore, I never did any
Yeah.
mischief. I was a very quiet boy, in fact, at most,
Right. Right.
in my studies. But still, as an example, if anybody commits any mistake, immediately mischief or something like that, immediately will go to the parents. The evening, when the teacher takes a stroll in the street, he will report the matter to the parents. And so
Hmm.
that kind of contact we had.
Right.
So that maybe it is not possible in the present day circumstances.
Hmm.
I don't know. But still, I think it is left to the teacher. The teacher is a master in the classroom atmosphere. If he
Hmm.
wants, he or she can definitely have personal relationship.
Hmm.
In my days, I used to, whenever there was some problem with any student, I used to call the particular student privately. If you ask any question in the classroom, they won't take it in the proper way.
Right.
Therefore, I used to call them separately and give piece of advice.
Hmm.
Maybe he had some problem in his house, or the environment is not all right,
Hmm.
or his mindset was not all right on a particular day. That
Right.
all the situations change from day to day and year after year.
Right.
So that is what I used to call them and then talk to them and give them some solace, give them some confidence. So that is probably liked by my students. Even today, they are in touch with me and speak to me and share their
Hmm.
thoughts, their problems, their aspirations, their hopes, all these things they share with me. So that
Right.
gives me a great feeling. I always used to say, you students, you are my strength. You are behind me. You are the person who are holding me all up. If I do something, it is because of you students. Well, I want to do the best for my students. So some were having some financial problem. I used to help them.
Hmm.
Some could not, they were coming from far off places. I used to take a room and, keep them there in that room and then help them to study. So small, small humanitarian, help. The students will
Right.
remember it for their life, entire life.
Right.
So
So,
that is
sir,
how the a
yeah.
student-teacher relationship should be. In the present day circumstances, yes, things are changing, but still nothing prevents a teacher from establishing a one-to-one relationship with the student. Let the environment be anything, or let
Right.
others do whatever they like. But
Right.
from our point of view, teachers can still be
Hmm.
a source of inspiration for the students and be in touch with the students. And nothing like personal relationship.
Right.
That will be very helpful to mold a student. You students will forget what you teach, whatever you have taught,
Yes.
that they may forget. But the personal relationship that you have established, that will go a long way. So that is my submission.
No, I think this is a very important thing, sir, that you mentioned. That is the relationship between the teacher and the student. And it's very nice that you mentioned from the earlier days also, when you used to have teachers within a village or within the same
Yes,
neighborhood as you lived. But
yes,
today,
yes,
even though that might not be feasible in many cases,
yes,
but still,
yes,
how we can develop a relationship
yes,
outside the classroom. You still have a,
yes, yes,
personal relationship with that student, and so that he or she remembers that for his life, for his or her life,
sure, sure.
right, with the teacher, and they always keep in touch with the teacher. I think that's a very relevant and beautiful point, sir. I think
Well,
just
I don't want
taking,
to
yeah,
just
sorry.
one point. I don't want to just blow my own trumpet, but just to tell you how students whatever you teach or the way you behave, your body language, all these things recorded in the minds of the students.
Right.
Once when I was walking on a platform in one of the streets in Chennai, on the platform, a
Yeah.
student, a middle-aged person, came and just fell at my feet. I could not believe. Then he stood up and said, "Sir, I am now a leading auditor in London. I studied under you several years back. All the morals and values that you taught in the classroom are still helping me, and I am what I am today because of you. Like that, went on, he went on saying, that was like, getting a gold medal or president's award or teaching.
Right.
The students are your, source of your wealth, your, strength or whatever. So
Absolutely.
this is a very touching incident. There are several such incidents, but this one I remember, so I narrated.
No, absolutely, sir. I think uh, because this leads to my next question, because we typically say teaching is one
Yes,
profession which is the noblest of all professions because it creates other
yes,
noble professions.
yes, yes,
Because
yes,
it creates other people, as you rightly said, it creates other professions and other noble people. But
yes,
today, sir,
yes,
and you also mentioned how your teachers were very critical in shaping your future or in helping
yes,
make you making decisions.
yes,
But
yes,
today, sir, in terms of the teaching as a profession, many of the times
yes.
we find that it is taken up as a last option, as a last choice
Ah,
in many cases. It is not
yes,
something that is that you always wanted to be a teacher, and as you rightly said, that you
yes,
even gave up the other jobs, other options that you had, and took up teaching. But
yes,
but but today the situation in many cases, of course, I don't say 100%
yes,
because there are still people who are passionate about teaching. But in
yes, yes, yes,
most of the cases, you still find that it becomes a last option which people opt for.
yes, yes,
What
yes.
is what are your views on this and how it should be?
Okay. The thing is, teaching is an art.
Hmm.
For other jobs, you wait till your assessment is made. The end of the year. By end of the year, what you have done, your positives, negatives, all those things they record and make us an assessment. Your superiors will make an assessment. But for a teacher, your assessment is made on the spot, inside the classroom. The
Right.
students,
Right.
they are the computers for you. Nobody else need to make an assessment.
Right.
If you see a smile, some brightness on their face, that means they have understood the topic, they like the subject that you have taught, or the points you have raised. So that glow, that smile on their face is an indication of an assessment for you. If they are sitting dull, if they are sleeping in the classroom, then it only speaks bad of you as a teacher. So that is one thing. And some are born teachers, I would say. It is
Hmm.
teaching is in that
In their
they
blood.
whatever they don't need to make much of preparation for the classroom lecture. They are born teachers. For some, initially they may not be good teachers. They may join as the last resort. But in
Hmm.
course of time, they develop an interest and then become good teachers by referring to the libraries, by seeing other teachers, and
Hmm.
by your own experience handling the students.
Hmm.
All
Hmm.
those things will help a teacher to be. So in the beginning, he may be an ordinary teacher. Later on, he may
Right.
develop into a good teacher. That is also possible.
Right.
And in my experience, I have seen some teachers who, having faced the students for a few classes, they ran away. That this is not cut out for me. So they sought the job in some of the banks or some other field. So
Right.
the thing is, over the years, a teacher has to develop the interest somehow. All right, as a last resort, you have joined,
Hmm.
but don't make a mockery of it.
Hmm.
Strive
Hmm.
hard, work hard. I think there is everything can be achieved by hard work. Nothing can replace hard work. So in course of time, you can definitely become a good teacher. Initially, you may not be liking it, but in course of time, you can become a good teacher. I remember proverb: if you cannot get a wife that you love the wife that you get.
Yeah.
Teaching, teaching you have taken not out of love, all right, but try to love that particular profession that you have taken up.
Right.
Decide that this is going to be my field for several years, and not that you are teaching classroom teaching alone. Will hold. There are many other things. You can help the students in other ways. You can give them some tips.
Hmm.
How to lead them. So after all, the students may not remember whatever subject you have taught in the classroom after several years, but the way you have helped them, the way you inspired them outside the classroom, inside the classroom, all these things count.
Hmm.
A
Hmm.
teacher has to be a teacher all 24 hours, 365 days. Some of my friends used to make fun of me saying, oh, you're a teacher, you got summer holidays, so many holidays. No. Actually, a good teacher, for him, there is no holiday. Even during summer days, I used to work, used to prepare for next year classes. Or there are other things like examination connected with the students. Everything is important. Valuation of assessment, student assessment.
Right.
Things are. Therefore, it is not just a holiday. But a good teacher will always make use of the time available with him for his betterment. And if he is better, the students also will become better. So there's no problem if you take the teaching profession as the last resort. But still, later on, we have to raise up to stand. And I remember a Bhagavad Gita stanza, Uddhareda Atmana Atmanam na Atmanam Avasadaya. Atmaivahi Atmano Atmaivahi Atmano. You have to raise your standard by your own efforts.
Right.
And you should never underestimate your capacity. Every human being has got some innate potential. Each person has got some divinity in him. You have to, unearth your own talent and become a better teacher.
Right.
Compared to yesterday, I am a better teacher today. Compared to today, tomorrow I should be a better teacher.
Right.
So you have to update yourselves constantly.
Right.
Students, they are very clever. They may not know the subject.
Yeah.
But they are very clever in assessing whether the teacher knows or not. That's the first thing they may not know. They may not know a particular point, but they would like to probe and find out whether the teacher knows or not.
Yes.
So if he doesn't know, he falls the estimate.
Right.
Although there are ways, by which we can raise the level of teaching and endear yourselves to the students. But one has to find one's own way. There are many ways. There is no hard and fast rule. But one should go on improving the standard day by day.
Absolutely.
Therefore, this point I think is clarified.
Yes.
And also to make the teaching not as the last resort, but as a wonderful profession, there are certain ways. For example, it should be treated on par with IAS. How do we select the IAS candidates? There is a written examination and then there is an interview. Right? That's when teachers are selected. There should be a written. There is a written examination, at least in the college level. People have to pass that examination. But in addition to that, there should be an interview. Like classroom experience should be given to them. How to handle the student, how to handle a particular subject. So that kind of training is necessary as it is done for IAS. And if the teachers are also given standard of pay on par with IAS, definitely many brilliant students will come to teaching profession also, not necessarily IAS. Instead of serving, somewhere, let me be a teacher and impart knowledge to the students. So many people will turn up. Therefore, in that, I would say the whole problem is, in India, because of the education being both under central government as well as in the state government. So this is really a problem. What I feel is, just as the administrative service, teaching also should be only under the control of the central government. They should all be given reasonable, right from the primary level up to the PhD level. All teachers must be respected. They should get a decent salary. A private college can employ a teacher, but then they should give a salary on par with what the central government teaches. So private colleges fine. Private educational institutions are fine, but they should keep certain norms on par with the government teachers. That will be helpful, in raising good teachers, raising the standard of teaching in the colleges, schools and colleges, and inspiring the students. If the students come out well, then it will contribute to the prosperity of the entire nation.
Absolutely, sir. I think so. This is exactly what I wanted to ask you. So you mentioned both the points from the perspective of the motivation of the teacher, as well as institutionally or structurally what needs to change to ensure that the teacher is really attracted to join this kind of a job.
Yes.
Now, sir, if you look at the education scene in India, and it's not just in India, it's all across the globe. It's become a money making business. It's a huge money
Yes,
making
yes,
business today.
yes,
So you may have people who are not really looking at education as a service, as education as
yes,
something that has to be done to improve the level of the society, but more in terms of making money and ensuring that I get my return on investment, right? And how do I
yes,
make more and more money every year? So
yes,
with this kind of a background and starting from the Gurukula system which we had, which
yes,
purely focused on the excellence of the individual and everything, starting from there to the education scene today, what is
yes,
your viewpoint on that aspect of education, in terms of the management of education, in terms of the people dominating the scene?
yes. The first point is, as I said, education should not be under the hands of both central as well as state, because neither the central is able to do the justice nor the state government.
Hmm.
It should be only under the hands of one particular system, that is central government system. We
Hmm.
have, central government schools, Kendriya Vidyalayas.
Yes.
We hardly have any college. We have some universities which are under the control of the UGC. Fine, they have to follow the UGC norms
Right.
and all that. But ideally, it should be under the control of only central government. At the same time, they can consult the state government for the drawing the syllabus or whatever, depending upon the particular state. The state should be consulted, fine, but should be under the whole control should be under the hands of the central government. That will solve many of the problems. And private institutions, yes, but the thing is, as in business, as we see in business, all business do not flourish. Many may start, but some may make some money, but others, they go into oblivion of their own account. Likewise,
Hmm.
the private institutions also, not everybody is making good money. Let me tell you, because
Hmm.
I have worked out the calculations, the statistics, and all that. It is very difficult to make both ends meet.
Hmm. Hmm.
Think of the investment. Think of the investment. The buildings, crores and crores. Equipment, several lakhs, several crores. How much can you charge the fees?
Hmm.
See, if your charges are high, the students will not come. They will run away to medium level institutions. Therefore, it is not a very profitable business, I would say. Some are flourishing, I do agree, due to various factors. They sometimes, some of the institutions pay the teachers very poorly and making a lot of money. So, if the education is brought under the control of the central government, they can say, well, private institutions you run, 50% of the profit you make should come to the central government. 50% you keep for your investment, return of investment, and all those things. Buildings you
Hmm.
have constructed, you have to get back. Fine. 50% of the profit you make should go to the central government again, which will be used for developing the other institutions. We have to concentrate on the villages, small villages with no basic facility is not there. Not even basic facility is there. They don't have even a roof. They
Hmm.
are sitting under the tree, under the greenwood tree. They are learning, and they won't even have proper board or proper facilities. Teachers are very
Right.
poorly paid. So all these things have to be solved at the central level. All the teachers should come under the central government pattern. All teachers should be paid decently. All schools, even small villages, should be well equipped with the beautiful buildings and all that. And students could be given good practical training
Hmm.
with the modern equipment. Village may be small, but the school should be fine.
Right.
Facilities should be on par with the cities or the metropolitan towns.
Right.
So this could be a practical solution, that the private institutions you thrive, no harm. Private institutions should also be there, but they should share that at least 50% of the profit with the central government, and with the rest they can manage. And
So,
all
so
teachers must be paid decently. Yes,
So, sir,
please tell me.
I think the main message that you're trying to give is that anybody who wants to enter the education field, he or she
Yes,
needs to do it with the objective that I want to serve the society by creating an education system which can help in
yes,
creating this kind of individual excellences, rather than trying
yes,
to look at it as a business. rather than
Exactly.
trying to look at it as an ROI driven business, which is not how education should
Yes.
be.
Correct. Correct.
Right? Right. Sir, now, you mentioned about these different aspects of the education system in
Yes.
terms of what are the different structural things we can do, in
Yes.
terms of the
Yes.
overall scenario. And now let
Yes.
me come to a bit in terms of what we learn in the schools or what we learn in the colleges.
Yes.
Now, even that, like for example,
Yes.
today the modern day student or the modern youth, many of the
Yes.
times, if he or she is outside the college or is outside the school, there is very
Yes.
little information or knowledge that he has about his own tradition or his own culture of this country, of this land, of the
Correct.
history of this land. And even the history that we read in the books most of the times are not the right history anyway.
Distorted. Yes. Distorted.
Distorted. So when
Yes.
you have a distorted kind of information being taught to the kids, the
Yes.
youth that is emerging from these educational institutions is also not having the right kind of knowledge which we are expecting them to have.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And also you are having a lot of issues anyways from the industry which speaks about the employability of the youth, and
Yes.
everybody saying that we have to still train them to become employable. So that
Yes.
employability
Yes.
issue anyway is there. But other than
Yes.
employability, also from our own traditional perspective, also we don't have youth or students with the right kind of knowledge. So how do you look
Correct.
at this entire what has to be taught? So in that
Yes.
aspect, what are your views?
Very good. It's a very good question. This is the need of the hour, I would say. That is why I have been insisting on one authority, central government
Hmm.
alone.
Hmm.
Education should be under the purview of only the central government, not
Hmm.
both central and state, because it is ruined. Because every state has got certain agenda, and therefore it's very difficult. Let it
Hmm.
be under the purview of only the central government. The entire syllabus should be framed. The students should be trained as though to evoke the national pride in each student.
Hmm.
From
Hmm.
from the preschool education, the students should take pride in our national development. There should be proper history, geography, and even sciences. The scientists that have flourished in our land, nobody knows about them.
Hmm. Hmm.
So all these things have to be taught. We got
Right.
a good past, ancient past is very nice, and today also we have got great scientists who are working for the nation. So their
Correct.
contributions, their history can be included in the syllabus. Morals and values have to be inculcated from the beginning. Not necessarily morals and values belonging to a particular religion. Let it be, widespread. For morals and values, all religions speak of morals and values. We can
Right.
include them in our syllabus. The
Hmm.
moment we utter morals and values, people raise their hand and say, no, 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 you have become, secular, non-secular, fundamentalist.
Hmm.
This is a very pathetic situation. It happens only in India.
Hmm.
Why should people be afraid of the term religion? In many countries, there are religious studies. Religion is
Correct.
included from the even primary level, at every level for that matter. Secular, fine. Secularism does not mean absence of religion or decrying religion. Secularism only means respecting all religions as equal. We have got
True.
many multi-religious states in our country. Secularism is fine for us. But let us respect all religions. Let us learn about all religions. I am a Hindu. Let me know about Christianity and glorious ideas. There are great principles in every religion for that matter. Why don't we learn them? Therefore,
Right.
the system should be so designed that morals and values are taught right from pre-primary level up to the PhD level. There should be some, say, module to cover this morals and values.
Hmm.
The Hindus must know, for example, in the question paper, everything comes down finally question paper. No? So in the question paper, for example, the Hindu students will have to answer, say, up to 80% of marks of Hindu religion. 20% of marks, they have to answer questions regarding other religions. Similarly, Christians and Muslims or other people belong to other religions. They must know about their religion to the extent of 80%. They must
Beautiful.
know about other religions, glorious principles of other religions to the extent of 20%. That
Beautiful.
way, So why do I develop, hatred for other religion? Because I do not know about it. If I know about the glorious principles of other religions, I will respect them.
Yes.
Situation in India is such that a person does not know either about the religion nor about other religions.
Yes.
I don't know about my own religion. I don't know about other religions also.
Right.
The result is one is guided by emotion of some other people and develop hatred towards other religious sectors. This is a very pathetic situation in India. Therefore, spirituality is the strength of India. We can't compete with Western nations in science. We will try to develop. But at the same time, our strength is in spirituality, morals,
Yes.
and values. So we should strengthen that. Our students should be very strong in spirituality, in principles of spirituality, and in morals and values. Spirituality must be broad based, as Swami Vivekananda has said. He said, spirituality means only two things: faith in oneself and a concern for fellow human beings.
Beautiful.
This is all. Spirituality can be reduced to these two things. Let us develop that particular spirit of spirituality in every individual, every student for that matter. He must have faith in himself, not simply depending upon the government for jobs. By your own faith, by your own, belief in yourself, you start a business or you work like a master. You can work under somebody, but work like a master, like Swami Vivekananda would say.
Right.
Not working for the sake of money. Work like a master, as though you own the business. And have a concern for fellow human beings, the suffering lot, to some extent, to whatever extent possible. Not that everybody can be a social reformer, but to some extent, everybody should be concerned about these fellow human beings. Because
Right.
if you alone prosper and your neighbors suffer, the country is not going to prosper. You rise. Along with that, others also let them rise. So the whole country should rise. So this should start from preschool level, from the smallest classroom and the youngest students. That will be very helpful for everybody. And all religions speak about God. So let us talk. This is a common thing for every religion. So why don't we include some syllabus about God and faith, feelings, all those things? Or we can use some morals and values, which are very general, common to many other religions.
Correct.
So this will help to raise, solve all the problems in our country. Because as a multilingual, similarly languages, every student must know 3 languages. For example, people in the south, they must know the regional language, they must know Hindi or Sanskrit, and then English.
Right.
Similarly, in the people in the north, they must know their mother tongue, Hindi, whatever, and English, of course, is necessary at the international level. And they must learn another language, like it can be Sanskrit or another South Indian language. So that will be very helpful.
Right.
So that will bring about linguistic unity. All our problems arise because of, linguistic problem and religious problem. All this can be solved if people come to know about. If you know many languages, you will respect all the languages.
Beautiful.
Your entire mind will become broadened. Similarly, religion. If you know about other religions, your entire view, your spectrum will expand. You will respect the entire humanity.
Correct.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Yes.
The entire world is my family.
Right.
Entire humanity must be respected and honored. That kind of feeling we must develop in the minds of our youngsters right from the beginning. And our students should be taught about our ancient medicinal system, Ayurveda. There were great people like Sushruta.
Correct.
They were all great experts in medicine. Our great ancient Indian history, our architecture, wonderful architecture. The temples who are standing there for 1,000 years or more. They speak of our wonderful architectural ability.
Correct.
And our glorious philosophy, which is one of the best in the world. Our expertise in arts and sciences. Our ancient Indian tradition, culture. See, if the students are asked, you learn about the culture outside the classroom, nobody will learn.
Yeah.
So all these things must have to be included in the classroom syllabus system.
Yes.
Examination, syllabus, examination, learning. Only these things will help. Therefore, these should be given a proper place. Science is fine. Everything is fine. But there should be a scope for morals and values, ancient Indian tradition. All this can be made only if the authority lies in the hands of one single authority, the central government. If it is in the hands of both state and central, how can all this thing can be implemented? Therefore,
Absolutely.
our entire constitution must be changed to give education totally in the hands of central government, but they should consult the state government for implementing the policies. That should be an
And,
ideal thing.
and also, sir, I think the
And
more
by that,
important point here, which you rightly
yes,
mentioned, that to rest with
yes,
one particular authority. And also,
yes,
the other important point is it should be independent of who is there in that authority. Whether it is this party or
exactly.
that party, it shouldn't
Yes, yes, yes,
it shouldn't impact this particular central
yes, yes,
authority that decides on education, because education has to
yes,
be
yes,
universal anyways. It cannot
yes,
depend
yes.
upon the
It
interests
should
of the
not be like,
ruling
yes.
party.
When the next party comes to the government, just because they didn't like the previous party, they're scrapping whole thing. That should not be the
Yes,
case.
correct,
And
correct,
also
correct.
there should be proper imparting of knowledge on Indian constitution, our
Yes,
legal systems, law, our Indian penal code. All these things must be taught.
yes,
I am a student. Let me be a student of science. I don't know anything about Indian penal code. I don't know about Indian law. I don't know about constitution. That should not be the case. Everybody should know about the provisions of our Indian constitution. So all these things must be kept in a module and taught in the classroom, and then examination must be conducted. Only then the students will be aware of what are our rights, what are our responsibilities. They will come to know only if they study a little bit of law. Not that if I want to study law, I must go to the law college only.
yeah,
Otherwise, in
right,
my other, so I do not know anything about law. That is not a
right,
good system. We
right,
should know something about our law, our Indian penal code, our
right.
constitution, provisions, our rights, responsibilities. Everybody should be aware of. That provision should be made to include these things in our educational system.
Beautiful. So the other thing which maybe we already have spoken for 40 minutes, but maybe I have one last question that I wanted to ask you. Of
Sure,
course,
sure, sure.
the schooling systems, yes, we spoke a lot right now, right? In terms of teachers, in
Yeah,
terms of students, in terms of the entire infrastructure of the schooling
yeah,
system. Now,
yes,
there is also the other key stakeholder in this entire scene is the parent, right?
yes,
Many of the times we see that the kind of competitive pressure that they build within the kid,
yeah,
to be the
yes,
first to secure so much marks, etc., rather than
yes,
focusing on excellence of the kid, to say what is the
yes,
real excellence of the kid and how we can develop that further. What are your viewpoints on the education that happens outside the classroom, at
yes,
home, with the parents?
yeah, yes, yes. I'll tell you. That is, there is a talent in every student for that matter. One may not be good, in mathematics, but he may be a very good artist. He
Hmm.
can write, can paint beautifully, but he may not be good in mathematics. Doesn't matter. What does it matter? He can become a good painter. He can get opportunity in the cinema field or any other field for that matter. Therefore, there should be provision to nurture the talent of every individual, every student for that matter. So, in every school and college and university, there should be scope for skill development. You study your BA or BSc or whatever. In addition to that, you learn a skill for which you have liking. I used to make this experiment in my classroom. In the first class, I will ask the students, who asked you to join this particular course? Why did you join this particular course? Almost 99% of the students will say, because my father or mother asked me to join this course. He himself doesn't have any inclination or any ambition. That is a bad thing. Everybody should know what is their strong point. I may not be strong in mathematics, doesn't matter. There are other fields in which I can shine. And
Correct.
also parents. Most of the parents, pressurize their wards. Unless you get into IIT, the whole life is ruined. Unless you, get into engineering college, your life will not, like, you won't earn enough money. That is that is the drawback. Our parents should not, parents and teachers should understand what is best in the student, not just what they expect from the student. Let him be poor student in mathematics. but if he's good in painting or in any other subject for that matter, there is no student who is not good in any subject or any field. That's not like that. Everybody has got some talent, some innate ability.
Correct.
It is the duty of the parents and teachers to bring out that ability from the student and provide facilities for improving his standard in that particular field. Don't discourage a student by saying, "Hey, what is the use of painting all the time? Study, memorize the grammar points."
Yeah.
Give him enough opportunity to flourish in the particular field that he has got some ability. Some films are also made in the direction how
Yes.
if you thrust into some particular course, you don't shine, but you got some ambition, you have some aspiration, but the parents do not encourage like that. These things are there.
Correct.
But at school level, we should give opportunity for everybody right from the school. That is why to provide all these facilities, it is possible only if the entire authority of education is in the hands of one system, that is the central government system.
Right.
Yeah, one authority. So they can take care of all schools, all colleges, and implement good policies that are good for the nation, and make the students, fit for not simply a particular job, but variety of. Everybody should be provided with some skill. Already they are good in that particular skill, they develop. Or you learn something new also. Till now, you do not know that we have some particular talent, but we can try to develop. For example, I had one student. He was feeling very bad because all the teachers were reporting about him. One day I called him and talked to him. Then what is your background? What is good in you? What do you know other than, sir, I am a good singer, sir. I can sing like, there was a famous singer, T.M. Soundararajan. I can sing like him. And I called him and gave him an opportunity to sing in the platform in our hall. One day in a week, we will all assemble. In the assembly hall, I gave him an opportunity to sing. He sang very beautifully. And from that day onwards, his entire mindset changed.
Correct.
And he developed interest in everything. And many teachers used to praise, sir, this student has really transformed. What did you do with him?
Yeah.
Very simple thing, 10 minutes talk with a boy. It has helped. So every student has got some talent. We have to unearth the talent. Help him to unearth the particular talent and then shine. That motivate him. So that will help, for the entire nation.
Absolutely, sir. I think I can't agree more with what you're saying. And sir, the last, we've been talking on multiple topics, and I didn't even know that we have had nearly 50 minutes we have spoken, and it's been such a great experience to speak with you, and all the information that you share, all these gems of wisdom are from your own experience, which makes it all the more special for all of us to hear from you, sir. I think thanks a lot, sir, for this time of yours. Really appreciate
Wonderful.
it.
Wonderful. I must be grateful to you. I really thank you for this opportunity. I thank all the listeners. I don't know who are listening.
Yes.
Many of them.
Yes.
How many? Can you give me an idea? How many are listening? Do you have an idea?
Not here, sir. It might be available on the YouTube and channel. It will be available.
Okay. Anyway, yes. I thank all the listeners for a very patient hearing. I thank you. Let us continue this kind of a thing.
Sure, sir.
I'll be very happy to cooperate with you in any field, and anybody for that matter who has got who are in the educational field, or who want to motivate their wards through telephone or through email. I can do my bit. That's the best service for the nation. I think that I can do that.
Great, sir. Great. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, dear Rasikas, so we heard such great gems of wisdom from Ramaratnam, sir. Until the next Sambhashana series, keep tuned. Namaskar.